I kind of want to do these like 10-minute segments on here. Welcome to Cine Shows. Um, I want to talk about Whiplash because I watched Whiplash recently. I watched Whiplash like the other day or maybe like last week. I think I gave it like a 4 if I'm not mistaken. But it was very interesting because also I was in a film discussion as well with Sonderhorse Film Club, right? And they usually have a lot of different film discussions. If you guys don't know Sonderhorse, actually, you should probably join their film discussions because they talk about a lot of different films. The last one they spoke about was actually Marty Supreme, and then we actually kind of made a correlation between Marty Supreme and Andrew, to be honest, because seeing as both people are very much driven and they're very much all about, oh, I have to be great or nothing, do you know what I mean? And of course, like, Marty's whole sentiment is, oh yeah, I want to be one of the greats. And like, do you know what I mean? And like that doesn't even enter my stream of consciousness. And I also feel like, like Andrew's is the same as well, because Andrew basically, obviously, when he was at the dinner table with his family, he was like, oh, I would rather, yeah, I'd rather like obviously be known for like whatever he wanted to be known for than be known for nothing at all. Like he was like, oh yeah, then dead at 90 or whatever, and like nobody knowing his name. And you know what, I absolutely get that. It's actually so interesting. And then also in that film discussion, we were talking a lot about, the ending, also like the whole ending of Whiplash and basically what happens in it. And obviously, I was basically saying also in the discussion, which I don't think was really heard that much, because I do think in film discussions, it can be quite difficult to have your say because there's so many people. And that's what I mean. Like having so many film discussions, like it's better to, when you're dissecting a film, I mean, like you can have conversations with like three or more people, right? But if you're going to have a conversation with like, do you know what I mean? With like one person and then another one, it's just going to be a bit more difficult to really get your point across. But my whole thing was like, it's not that I don't think Whiplash could have had a happy ending. Do you know what I mean? It was my whole pushing thing was I was just surprised that Andrew had gone back to Fletcher in the way that Fletcher had, pushed him this whole entire time to like, yeah, to really feel awful about himself. Do you know what I mean? And not know his self-worth as well. So I found that really interesting. Just that was basically what I was saying. Like I was also saying like, oh, he could have not gone back to Fletcher and he could have decided to go on his own pathway. And if it ended badly, then yeah, then cool. Like it could have ended badly, because that's what I mean. Because I think everyone's whole thing about the ending is like, yeah, there's no way that it could have been a happy ending. Do you know what I mean? In the way that, if you're trying to achieve greatness, is there going to be a happy side to it? That's the question. I probably think the answer is no. Like, if you obviously look at Marty and Andrew, anyways, the answer is no, because both guys were literally like, what's the word, tormented in a way, or they both just like did crazy things and go through so many hoops in order to get what they wanted. So I guess you would say that there probably is no happiness on the other side, except the fact of the matter is, remember, the smile that Andrew does at the end does infer to us that he has reached the pinnacle of greatness, like where he wanted to be, where he longed to be in the whole entire film. When he kept saying to Fletcher, "Oh yeah, I want to." I want to be, I think he was trying to get that position in the band. So he kept going on about that he wanted that position in the band. So I feel like, at the end he smiles because he's like, you know what, I've made it. And I've also showed the person who didn't think I was all that great, I've showed them that actually I am great. Do you know what I mean? And like they were wrong about me or whatever. But I just mean, like, I think I was saying in that discussion as well that like he he kind of lost his like dignity and pride to me. Like that's what I mean. Like going back to Fletcher for me signifies him losing his self-worth. Do you know what I mean? Like if he decided to not go back to Fletcher, it would have been like more stronger, and it would have been like more impactful as well. Because I feel like, it would have just been a thing of where he would go on his own journey to like signify his greatness, and he wouldn't need like the pushing force of Fletcher, because you know what I mean, he had Fletcher in his head the whole entire time when he was there, and he looked at Fletcher as this role model. Do you know what I mean? But he obviously really didn't need that at all. Like he needed to just find out who he was himself and kind of just pat himself on the back rather than get validation from somebody else. Fletcher's also like a very interesting character to me as well, because I feel like, you know, he made it seem like he wanted what was best for his students, even though to me it felt like he didn't. Like he was saying to Andrew, obviously afterwards, in the way when he sees Andrew in the restaurant, that it's basically like, you know, oh, I just wanted my students to be great or whatever. But it's like, you know, you push them to the point of, do you know what I mean, on the edge, and that's why the student that he was teaching before, obviously he found out that he had committed suicide. So we're like, do you know what I mean? We're like, obviously your teaching is not doing that well. Do you know what I mean? He was mad at Andrew for snitching on him and obviously saying, and then obviously telling on the system to make him lose his job, that obviously, yeah, that he was doing this rough way of teaching. But like, who wants to be, you know, swirled out with abuse while trying to achieve, you know, their dream? I mean, but and the whole thing, I think I wrote it even in my review. Actually, no, actually my letterbox review said something about like the pinnacle. I was talking about the pinnacle, but just in terms of like, I guess how music is and how music does, like, you know, you're like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? When you hear music, it's a bit like overstimulating. So I was like, oh, I think that's what I was saying. Like, and I regarded it, I connected it to Francesca from Bridgerton. So basically, just like, you know, that's what Francesca, but that was, no, the pinnacle is that for Andrew. Do you know what I mean? As in, you know, the music and finally getting to do his like semi, it's almost a middle finger to Fletcher, but in a way that it looks like a smile. Do you know what I mean? That he looks happy or that he smiles at Fletcher. But really, I do think it's a, oh yeah, I did this now type thing, actually. I think it's more like that than like the other way. Um, yeah, like, I don't know, because Fletcher made it seem like, you know, his way of teaching was going to work. And I don't know also what, that's what something that was in, I was also in the discussion as well. It was one of the highlighted points where we were like, oh yeah, what was Fletcher's motive? Like, what was it that he really wanted to achieve? Like, you know, he seemed like a decent guy. Like, when you saw him, not a decent guy, sorry, he's actually awful. I mean, he seemed like a decent, performer, I mean. So, you know, when Andrew goes to see him, we're like, you know, what's missing in your life? You know, it doesn't seem like anything is, you know, you're a semi good performer. So what is it that you're really searching for? And what is it that you really like? Why is it you need to do that? But I think basically I remember saying in the discussion as well, I think I made a little comment on it, and I was like, I think that I was saying, oh, the Thatcher just wanted to like know that he could make people feel small, and that was it. I think that's his only, like, that was what he wanted to achieve. He made it seem like, you know, he wanted to help them, but I don't think it was about that. I think it's the whole thing of being able to know that you have power. And I also think like a lot of teachers in general strive on that, you know, like it builds their egos and it makes them feel good because, you know, they can be like, oh yeah, you suck at this, blah blah blah. Or, you know, when it's like, oh, when I guess a teacher sometimes would be like in school, oh, you're never gonna make it. And it's like, oh, they say that because it's like, you know, they don't feel like they've made it, you know, they're behind a desk having to mark like loads of papers, and it's like, you know, we have made it. Do you know what I mean? Like we have it and we will make it. But it's like, you know, for you, you're here teaching us and you're having like a worse time, if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? So I think that is also why, like, it's in, that's probably just, I guess, the role of being a teacher and what it feels like to be one. Like, I guess it feels like, you know, you are on that pedestal of being able to belittle people, and it's like, you know, you just use that as your pushing thing. And so then you're like, you know, of course I can put down these people because they have to take it, because they're here, they have to take it because they're here and they can't do anything about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I think I'll do another one of this because actually the next one I'm going to talk about is actually the first look of the Vampire Lestat, and bro, I have so much thoughts. Thank you for watching.